All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us for our Franchise Your Business webinar series here. And I'm so grateful to have on our show today Ian Purcell, who's going to be talking about, I think, something that's really interesting. So we had met a few weeks ago, and we had talked about this whole concept of really tracking and helping. This idea of shrinkage always comes to my mind. Basically, lost product that goes out one way or another. And so, in talking with him and his company, they have a product and system and service that helps restaurants or any business with a bar help better manage what's going out and what's lost through shrinkage, spillage, whatever the correct terminology is. I'm sure Ian will correct me there.
I got you.
But I'm looking forward to talking about that here with you and having your presentation. And for those of you that are new to our session here, this is just a hyper-focused webinar series that we do, really geared toward franchisors to help them better manage their system. So hopefully you are a franchisor that has a bar component to your business. This is going to absolutely help your franchisees make improvements in better managing their expenses and making their business what should hopefully be more profitable. So a little background on Ian. He has 23 years service industry career, including owning and operating several restaurants of his own, including one of Virginia's top-rated distilleries. He's consulted and advised over 30 different businesses in hospitality through his consulting company as well. And he really specializes in providing clients with data-driven insights to implement best practices in order to maximize draft beverage profits, which is what I was kind of leading and trying to hint at in our overview. In addition to that, Ian is the Senior Director of Client Success at Bar Track, which he'll be talking about today. So with that, Ian, I'd love to turn things over to you.
I appreciate it, Tom. Thanks for having me here. Excited to kind of show you guys a little bit of what we've been working on our end. And if there's any questions or anything like that, we'll have some time at the end here, or you can always shoot those over to Tom, and I'm happy to link up with anyone after the webinar here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Tom.
Yes.
Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is Bar Track. We are I want to say young company. We've been around for about 4.5 years now, and we're excited about the technology that we've introduced into the market. And we've had a lot of great success with this, working with breweries, restaurants, stadiums, places that have 2 tap handles to places that have 200 tap handles. And so the concept behind our product here really came from our experiences in the restaurant industry. I was a bartender for probably too many years of my life, and then ended up purchasing the bar from the bar that I bartended at for so many years. And I had the unique opportunity of being able to see things from both sides of the coin there. One being, as a bartender, I was part of the problem. I had an issue of bringing up my Jamesons on industry night. And then as an owner, I had the frustrations of seeing all this loss, whether it's from bottles, cans, liquor, or draft beer, but just getting this variance number and not being able to really dive in and identify the who, what, when, where, and why. And so with Bar Track, we set out to try to change the game to do a number of different things. One, we want to identify different areas of loss, but we want to focus in on things like, why are my lines foaming? What are causing these quality related issues? How can I make the beer taste the way the brewer intended, right? Addressing unaccounted drinks or overpouring, identifying the who, what, when, where, and why, not just giving me a variance at the end of each week, but being able to dive into a report and see at what time that took place and understanding why that beverage wasn't rung up. Was it not rung up because my bartender was pouring in a high pressure or a low pressure state, or was it not rung up because they just aren't ringing those beverages up? Being able to create communication and meaningful conversations with our team. And then also addressing some of the outdated processes in which we get our variants, right? Going into the keg room, jumping over the salmon and the chicken wings, doing the old shake and bake. This is 0.5. Well, my 0.5 might be your 0.7, or my 0.5 might be your 0.3. And then keg weighing, which takes time, and it's also extremely inaccurate. And so in the process of going through this as a company and the research that we've done, identifying the fact that the average restaurant in the United States loses between 75 to 80% of every keg that they put online. We took the middle ground on that at about 77.5, and we see with actual breweries that's actually a much higher number. They're usually starting in the high 60s to low 70s, losing between 30 and 35% of each keg they put on. This is coming out to around $100,000 per year in revenue that's not being realized. And so our goal was to be able to not just provide some inventory management numbers to our clients, but being able to provide meaningful insights and backing that with a consultant that works with your establishment to dial in on those specific areas. And so for BarTrack, we looked at all the different options that were out there, and we started really trying to identify how we can differentiate ourselves from everybody else. And so we created the first beverage sensor that has no moving parts. And I think it's important to understand that, because any other type of flow rate system out there that's monitoring flow rate is using what's called flow meters, right? And these flow meters, or these turbine flow meters, think of a little fan about the size of about this big, that sits on your draft lines. And as that beer goes through, it spins that fan around and it kicks back some data analytics to you. And in theory, that's great. And about 30 years ago, when this technology came out, it was great. We were pouring Miller Lights and Coors Lights, but the beer of today has changed a lot from these thick sours and hazy IPAs and stouts. And imagine a fan spinning around and slapping that beer as it goes through. It's causing degassing and foaming. It's also can't differentiate between CO2, liquid, and foam. So anything that moves the fan is counted as beer, which gives you inaccurate numbers. In addition to that, if that flow rate or that flow meter breaks, you can't pour through those lines. And you're basically using some theoreticals on how many pints I should get out of each keg, and so on and so forth. And so with BarTrack, we took that technology, we kind of threw it out the window, and we created the first beverage sensor that has no moving parts. Nothing touches that beer as it moves through our lines. It's the first sensor on the market that can differentiate between CO2, liquid, and foam. We can actually identify foam going through your lines, quantify that foam, and equate it to actual volume so that you're getting accurate numbers. We can also pinpoint where that foaming issues are happening. Is this an issue in my keg room? Is this an issue in my long draw with my glycol? So BarTrack is monitoring a dozen different beer specific variables: temperatures of your lines, temperatures of your pressure, high, low. We're monitoring cooler temperature, cooler humidity. We're monitoring the flow rate to make sure that you're pouring at the right flow rate. When was your last line cleaning? How often are you cleaning? What temperatures are you cleaning your lines at? How old is that keg that's been sitting on your line? Has it been on there for too long? And so collecting all of this data, and in turn, providing that to you with real-time keg levels that are set up in an app that allow your bartenders or your staff, when they are having foaming issues, to click into our app. They can identify very quickly, is this pressure related? Is this temperature related? Having all of that information at the palm of their hands. The value of this and how our system really works is it's a simple process. Our sensors are pretty much plug and play. To give you some insight, if you're talking about a 15-line draft system, 12 to 15-line draft system, it's about an hour of install. That's from showing up on the doorstep, opening the door, walking in, and cleaning up and leaving. So it's a very simple install. Those sensors provide, it's a two-part thing. We're providing insight to our app, which is allowing you to see real-time keg levels, temperature and pressure related issues, like I said. In addition to that, you have inventory at the palm of your hand. In our inventory section in the app, you can click on the inventory page. You can get true stock on hand. How much is in each keg? How much do I have in inventory? What is my total stock on hand? What am I pouring through my lines per keg on average, so that I know how many days left in inventory I have? In addition to that, we have a PAR system that looks at and sees how much you're moving each week, and will dial in PARs for you that you can then click on a button and it creates an order sheet for you. All of this is exportable into Excel. On top of that, we have inventory, real time, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. You You can customize your inventory numbers. These inventory numbers are accurate within less than 0.5% of an error. Again, all exportable into an Excel file, so that instead of going in there and picking up kegs or weighing them, you click a button, it provides you all that information with extreme accuracy. And then our data analytics, and what I call our efficiency reports. These are reports that are breaking down on a per beverage basis, 6 different areas of loss, from unrung to over and under pours to comps to foaming issues on your draft lines to keg changes, line cleanings. It's allowing us to be able to identify where this loss is occurring, why are we not hitting our pour cost or our goals, and then working with a consultant that's going to go in and look at that information with you. We're not just dumping data on you. We're coming in and we're working with you through a process. 90 days we spend with each of our clients to show them this data, help them understand it, and then create and implement SOPs and best practices based around how they operate their business, to find things that stick, increase that efficiency, and then create consistency across the board. I think what I get the most excited about with our product, if they're talking about all the bells and whistles, is plain and simple. Our product allows you to communicate with your team. It creates communication, meaningful and positive communication. I'm not putting all my bartenders in one room and telling them to do better. I'm able to sit down with individuals and discuss specific times and specific examples and work with them in a positive manner that then creates instant accountability, and that accountability sticks. What makes us better? This is just kind of a comparison here. When you're looking at keg weighing versus turbine flow meters, nothing comes close to checking all the boxes that BarTrack does. We have 0 moving parts. None of our products are going to create degassing or foaming of the beer. Nothing touches your beer. The accuracy is unparalleled. We are accurate within less than 0.5% of an error, 0.5% in error. Reliable, durable technology. Plug these suckers in. They are built to last. We have people throwing kegs at them. It's technology that we've had installed now for 6-7+ years with no issues. No routine maintenance or cleaning. When you clean your lines, you clean our product, right? Quality control is unparalleled, and we calibrate one time, and you never have to calibrate the product again, which is very nice. I'm showing a quick case study here, and this is part of our presentation on the client success side, which is my department. I did pull up a quick little report because I think it is important to be able to see a little bit of the detail of what we do. But I wanted to throw this in here because this was a client that I worked with, and they are a typical style client. Usually our clients see a return on their investment within 1 month of using our product. I don't care if you have 2 lines. I don't care if you have 200 lines. You can see here that this client started with a sold efficiency of 81%, meaning of the ounces or gallons that were poured through their lines, 81% of those pours had sales associated with them. 19% of those pours went to waste. That is where traditional inventory ends. BarTrack breaks this out into 6 different categories. Human, which is now called unrung, is basically a pour that is made that has no sale associated with it for that reporting cycle. Over and under is over pour, under pour. We monitor, right glassware is my buddy Tom coming into the bar, and I'm pouring him the 32-ounce tall boys, but charging him for the 16-ounce happy hours. We can track that on a per beverage basis. We can track courtesy pours, opening the tap handle, letting the beer run out for a few seconds, then putting your glass underneath it, or pour technique, pouring and dumping of clean beer. And we follow under pours, making sure that our customers are getting what they're paying for, making sure that the right glassware is being used. Quality, which is now called foam, is tracking foaming issues on your draft lines. Pours that are made in a low quality state, pressure or temperature related. Are we seeing air bubbles or air pockets or foaming issues going through your lines? We're tracking that, and pours that are not rung up due to those quality related issues are put into this category. Comp is comp. I bought Tom a beer and we discounted it. We do track comps because sometimes comps can get out of hands. We see that a lot with the breweries. And so dialing that in and doing comp management is a form of loss. And we want to make sure that we're comping the right things. And then system waste is part of keg changes and line cleanings. When you have to change a keg, you got to bleed that line to get it pouring clean beer. That is loss that is occurring. We want to capture that. And when you're cleaning your lines, they're flushing all of that beer out. It's important quality and system to understand that this is a product that wasn't just designed to catch bartenders not bringing up beers. This was actually a product to support the bar staff. And I know that sounds crazy, but we did this because a lot of the loss that we see isn't coming from a bartender that's stealing from the business. That happens. There are bad apples. Where we're seeing a lot of this loss is due to quality related issues on your draft system that are out of the control of the bartender. Same thing with keg changes and same thing with line cleanings. We want to separate that waste so that we're not blaming staff or addressing loss with staff that's out of their control. We want to focus on the areas that we can. And I think what's important about that is that this is what gets a lot of your staff to buy into our product, because they see that we're actually helping them. We're not working against them. With this client, I know that we put less than 60 days because that is our average time, but with this client, it was less than a month. We were able to take them from 81% efficiency to 94% efficiency, to drop their unrung or their waste from 19 down to 6%. And they saw an immediate return on investment within their product. We actually paid off the entire product for the entire year in less than a month with this specific client here. And I'll show you a little bit more in reports here in a second, just to kind of give you some insight. In regards to installation, again, very simple, streamlined install. Put some pictures in here. This is Voodoo Brewing. They are also a franchisee group. They've got about 30 locations they just opened. Not only do they standardize on BarTrack and all their locations, they actually utilize us for all of their draft build out systems. So we do draft installations. We will come in and build out your system. And I think the importance of that is that BarTrack isn't just a draft tech company coming in and plugging in some draft lines. We're coming in with the understanding that we're plugging our sensors in, we're calibrating your system and balancing your system based around those sensors, and we're building this draft system out with the understanding that we want you to be our customer for as long as we possibly can. So there's a lot of heart and soul that goes into what we do on our installs, and there's a lot more attention to detail. And we also come in at a very great price point there, because it's not a model that we're trying to do to make money off of. We're doing this really because we want to elongate our tenure with you as your client. Just some of the customers and partners we work with. We're very excited about Micromatic, one of the leaders in draft systems, the leader, I would say. They have now standardized on BarTrack. Every kegerator system and every draft install system going out under Micromatic is now going to have BarTrack sensors attached to them. They will be plug and play. You flip the switch on, you will have our services. They are calling it their smart draft system. They are really excited to partner with us. And as a small business, we were very excited to partner with them as well. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, this was a big one for us. They have the most draft lines of stadiums in the world right now. And they brought us in because they were having major issues on their draft lines, and they were pouring at about 60% efficiency. And we were really excited to get them pouring closer to 87 to 88% efficiency after working with them for about 6 to 7 months. And the reason that took a little bit longer is stadiums are only pouring beer once or twice a week. Unlike restaurants, we can see data coming out every week. And the other two I'd like to point out here: Sculpture Hospitality, Bar Metrics. These are consulting groups. They come in, they weigh your liquor, they weigh your kegs, they do all of that. They have now standardized on our product. They are installing BarTrack into their customer locations because of the accuracy and being able to provide a better value to their customers. And we're also excited about HMS Host plugging us into the airports across the country here. Some of our upcoming features that I think are really exciting is flow rates. You will be able to see flow rates in the app, meaning how many ounces per second are you pouring through your lines. This helps you dial in high pressure and low pressure issues that no one's been able to do before. In addition to that, glycol monitoring is another thing that we're very excited about as we move forward here. Before I jump into Q&A, Tom, I just wanted to be able to give everyone on the call here the ability to take a look at what a report looks like from BarTrack. And I'm going to show you two here real quick. This is a brewery partner of ours, Firemaker. And here is showing you a report what it looks like for how many ounces they poured through, their revenue, their cost, their profit, their pour cost. Their pour cost goal is set at 7%. So they're coming in a little bit under it. So they are above that goal by $210. Now you can see they're in the red here because they're at 73% efficiency. We see this a lot with breweries. We'd like to get you above that 80% marker. However, with breweries, there's a lot of brewer tastings. There's a lot of shifties. There's just a lot of other areas of waste that occur. And so our goal with breweries is to get them to start comping as much as possible so that we can capture those, so that there's accountability across the board. We can see that 73% of their pours had sales, 27% did not. And we break that down into these different categories so that they can understand where that loss is occurring. We also provide very detailed insights on pours versus sales. Pours being in orange, sales being in green. Any type of foaming issues are going to be located here in blue. Any type of keg changes are going to be here in gray. Any type of comp is taking place right here. This allows you to get a bird's eye view of your day and start to identify where you're seeing gaps or where I'm pouring more than I'm actually selling. And what we do is we break that down on a per beverage basis so that you can start to identify where that's taking place. We can see here with Calamity Jane, there was a pint that was lost here during 4 p.m. We lost about another 2 pints here, another pint here, and a couple more here. And so this is allowing us to start to pinpoint specific times, specific instances, and then being able to sit down with our bar staff and address that. Whereas if we look at way down yonder, we can see that at 5 p.m. can't get much better than pouring and selling, right? But we can see that we're having some loss here, but we can also see that that's being comped. So they are capturing that and making it accountable. And then we can see some overpours taking place here at 7 p.m. and that's being captured in the reports. Again, I can then look at this and see that my staff is comping the way that they're supposed to. And as long as that comp isn't exceeding what I want it to, I can have meaningful conversations with my team as we go forward. And to give you a little bit more insight, this would be a customer with a little bit more volume. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. And it just kind of gives you a different perspective of where you can look at a business now. 7,200 gallons. This customer actually started with us when they were pouring in the 60% range. We've now gotten them almost up into the 90s. They fluctuate between about 88 to 90% in efficiency. Our goal is always to get you to 90% or above. So I didn't want to just come out here and show you all of our great accounts. I wanted to show you some of these accounts that are doing comp management and some of these accounts that have worked their way up. We were able to increase their efficiency by 30%. And we did that in about a month and a half, getting their unrung below 5%, which is what we want. We'd like to see overpours below 3. We'd like to see our foam below 3. And diving down here, this is what a location with more volume looks like. Being able to look through here, seeing when the keg changes are taking place, seeing foaming issues that are occurring on those lines, and starting to pinpoint times where I want to start to focus my attention where I'm seeing the most loss take place. And as we scroll down, we can start to identify and pinpoint. I'm having some draft related issues on Michelob Ultra. I can use this line right here to identify the line. I can scroll down to the bottom of this report. We have a system health showing what this blue, what this foam is related to, high pressure, low pressure, or temperature related issues. You can also start to see where loss is occurring. For Bud Light, for example, 13 ounces, 12 ounces, we're capturing that a little bit later on. So this is showing a bartender that's pouring beers and then ringing them up a little bit later, but we are still having some loss that's occurring here at the end. And so this is a great way for you to start to dive in and find areas like this 46 ounces, or scrolling down and seeing issues where I'm pouring 60 ounces, but only getting 14 ounces of it back. I now have the ability to sit down and speak directly with my AM bar staff versus my PM bar staff and say, hey guys, AM, we're missing a lot of pours here. PM, I can see that we're over pouring on a lot of occasions, and you're working with staff on 2 different issues, and it's making you more efficient. You're creating instant accountability with your staff, and you're doing it in a positive and meaningful way. And that's really the gist of Bar Track, kind of in a nutshell. I don't know if there's any questions. You can always direct your questions to Tom. More than welcome to send those back over to us, and he can direct you to any of our staff that can help you better understand our pricing models, better understand how we consult with our customers. All of that is included in our product, or answer any other questions thereafter.
Yeah, Ian, thank you. This was great. And I wanted to just ask, what's the best way for someone to either contact you, check out your website, gather just some more information if they're looking for a little bit more info?
Absolutely. I think the best way to do it would be to go to our website, which is right down here in the lower right-hand corner. It's bartrack.beer, not bartrack.com. It's bartrack.beer. And if you click on the website there, you're going to get a little bit of info and insights to what we do. But there's a section in there that says request a demo. I will say this, one thing that we pride ourselves on, we are never selling. I know what it's like to be sitting at the restaurant and getting sales calls coming in all the time. We're never selling. We just want to explain to you what our product does, how it operates. It has to be a fit for you. So there's no pushy sales part on this. It's here's what we do, here's how we do it. And if it makes sense for you, we'll work with you. We never lose a customer to pricing. We have a number of different pricing models and ways to work around your budget and what you're doing. So please reach out to us. We'd love to be able to have a conversation with you.
Great. Well, this has been wonderful, Ian, and we will make sure that this gets posted so that folks can rewatch this and share this. I know that this is, to me, this is something that our clients, anyone that has, as you described, that has any form of beer lines anywhere, whatever they're doing, need to have a conversation with you to explore this because, any way you can prevent loss, shrinkage, it's significant how quickly it adds up, and just seeing some of the case studies you presented. So really, really grateful for you to be here and share this information.
We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk to you, and thanks so much for having me.
Yep. Thank you, Ian. And to those of you who are just joining in, or thank you again. Again, it's bartrack.beer is the best way to check out their website, learn a little bit more about them. Ian and his team are there to support you. And if you're new to the Big Sky Franchise Team webinar and webinar series, this will be made available on YouTube and published on the website again for viewing here in the next few days. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. We appreciate your time.
Take care.